Hello, my name is Saqib Rasool. I have had an extremely good fortune to meet, learn, and work closely with Chauncey Bell for the past 10 years. For more than 30 years, Chauncey Bell has been a global leader in the invention and application of a distinctive new approach for shaping the futures of effective communities and enterprises. He has been a senior colleague of those who have led the development of disciplines of coaching and design called linguistic ontology, including Fernando Flores, Alan Seiler, James Flaherty, and Terry Winograd. Chauncey Bell is widely recognized as a thought leader and senior designer in that community. The approach he and his colleagues have developed provides a reliable foundation for dealing with continuously changing markets and technologies of today's world, addressing unrelenting pressures on margins, increasingly diverse multicultural workforces, extensive in- and outsourcing, and difficulties with accountability, commitment, and responsibility. The approach locates the construction of value and waste in conversations among responsible human beings and commitments they make with each other. This leads to opportunities for designs, metrics, signals, and indicators far better suited to today's world than the traditional alternatives. His engagement have shifted clients' cultures and added hundreds of millions to their revenues and profits. For example, major semiconductor fab tool installation delivered on time, roughly 40% below projected cost, with a team of 2,200 people. Concrete delivered on time in Mexico City, Guadalajara, and around the world. New UK online retail bank built and opened in 10 months, gained 15% market share in less than 24 months. Dozens of electric utility projects completed at less than 15% budget, producing 20% more power than promised within 1 year of commencing work. Cycle times for developing £10 billion in wind farms reduced 25%. Cycle times for engineering changes in large electronic card assembly and testing plants reduced from 14 days to 1 day. Also, Chauncey and his colleagues have been awarded several US software patents for tools and methods for human coordination in digital networks. He has led engagements on 3 continents that have altered many companies and industries. So, without further ado, here is Chauncey Bell.
Greetings and welcome. Mobilization is the name we give to the discipline of building new practices and making important changes in existing worlds. In talking about consulting, we spend a lot of time on the subjects of managing and leading. The development of practices is a different topic, not well developed in either the literature or the business of consulting. In our work together, we will introduce a body of practices for mobilizing change in enterprises. We've developed and tested these practices in many industries, including manufacturing, energy, software, communications, education, consulting, and finance in North America, South America, and Europe over more than 20 years. These practices give consultants and their clients a foundation for cultivating new, market-focused offers centered on customers and people in the extended enterprise and addressing their challenges from a richer perspective. I am inviting you, and we will prepare you, to be an observer of enterprise as the continuous invention of our lives and worlds in language. Business, and life for that matter, has always been about communication. For thousands of years, speaking and listening have been in the center of exchanging goods and services in marketplaces. Our awareness of what that means, however, has evolved radically in the last decades, especially with computers and networks, the internet, and now wireless mobile communications. Unfortunately, in today's globally connected service economies, The old staples, the traditional practices, machinery, and systems for extracting value are no longer sufficient for reliably diagnosing areas for improvements and producing value. The terrain of competition and what underlies it are changing too fast. The modern practice of business consulting offers no end of approaches and methodologies for improving productivity, designing processes, improving teamwork, defining strategies, goals, objectives, measurements, and the like. Predictions and promises of increased sales and revenues, profits, better returns on investment, and reduced costs can be found with relative ease. The old business maps in which human beings are marginalized as titles in organization charts, as human resources, consumers, and end users, are not sufficient for designing competitive coordination. Tools, methodologies, and algorithms do not reliably produce value for customers. One result of this, of course, is the skepticism and resignation about consulting found everywhere today. In the era we have entered, effective coordination of services throughout our enterprises is central to value creation. Over 90% of the economic outputs of Western economies are now dependent on the coordination of services. The days when the extraction, agriculture, construction, and manufacturing industries produce more than 70% of our revenues are long gone. To deal with today's continuously changing competitive environments and reliably deliver value to demanding customers, we will introduce new maps and models. We will show you new ways to rapidly design and introduce practices in organizations to help you effectively manage the coordination of services at all levels of enterprises. The consulting industry is under pressure. The model of bright business school graduates preparing analytical analyses that serve as foundations for strategies, programs, and improvements is not producing satisfied customers. More and more clients are recognizing that the challenges they face have cultural, social, emotional, and historical dimensions that are not responsive to the consulting industry's traditional offers. Why? Paraphrasing my friend Fernando Flores' preface to his latest book, he said, "Our rationalistic tradition puts its emphasis on facts, the representation of facts, building models, and communicating about the truth of claims. There's a whole other world that is just as important and no less rational, a world that is emotional, social, and historical. This is the world in which, in collaboration with others, we bring forth realities, negotiate with each other, and make history happen, all in conversations with each other. It is a world in which language is not merely about notations of facts, but also poetical and political invention and bringing action. It is in this other, no less rational world that we will open the topic of mobilizing in enterprises. Mobilization, building new practices and making important changes in existing worlds, is the topic under which we can help all kinds of enterprises. We have applied these practices in building important new parts of a number of industries, and in the process catalyzed some industry-wide changes. One of the best-known illustrations of our practices was the development of the capacity to deliver ready-mix concrete on time in Mexico City and Guadalajara. As some of you know, this case was celebrated in many articles and books as a business transformation in which not only complicated material and business processes were shifted, but also historical traditions of whole industries, and the nation benefited from the shifts produced. I've also applied these mobilization practices to accelerating the development of wind farms in the British Isles, radically reducing cycle times for the construction of power plants in various parts of the world, improving quality and cutting construction time in other industries, and improving patterns and quality of customer service in various industries. The way we listen to the concerns, form diagnostic interpretations, shape offers, and design new practices, and deal with opportunities, possibilities, and challenges all take on new dimensions and complexions using this new approach. In this, we will also reinterpret financial management and the design and introduction of new technologies in the mobilization space. Over the past few years, we have run several in-person versions of the program we're talking about, and the modest successes of consultants and their clients coming from those experiences have given us confidence that we are aimed in the right direction. In this course, I will introduce and illustrate key selected mobilization practices with case examples, including what they are, how they work, and the results they produce. We will also invite you to bring case examples of your own, situations you have experienced, and questions in the community for discussion and to explore the dimensions of mobilization and the specific practices we will be introducing. We promise that this workshop will be relevant and valuable, not only for experienced consultants and people who run their own businesses, but also for those who are just getting started with a career in consulting and helping other people with their business concerns. At the same time, this will be an exceptional opportunity to interact directly with the incredible global experience and networks of the group of leaders that are part of our community. In this program, we will cover elements, structures, competencies, and tools for the design of practices in enterprises, including the design and sale of engagements, management of the political structure and flow of engagements, coupling with customers, including listening, building relationships and trust, articulating interpretations, offers, and project reports, developing diagnoses, design speculations and designs, instrumentation and tooling. You will learn to observe historical disclosive spaces, observe wastes and capital flows in conversational processes of coordination. You'll also begin to recognize patterns of emotions, moods, and practices of coupling that are characteristic of different historical styles, including, for example, the way that resignation and resentment appear in an enterprise. The prerequisite for participating in this program is your deep care for people and your willingness to challenge yourself as you learn new skills and perspectives. I wish you the very best on your journey and pray that you find many treasures and opportunities for wealth and service to your fellow beings, as I and my colleagues have over our lifetimes. Let us go then, you and I,